Hi folks, thanks for joining us. I'm James, this is Kevin. We're seeing significant changes to our home and work lives. For some of us, change have meant that we're working from home, jumping from call to call, doing lots of video conference calls nowadays. For some, working from home is not an option. This has been a particularly difficult time for folks in manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and the likes. At Samsung, we've been looking for a way for our product to help folks get back to work safely. So I have with Kevin to kind of share some of our learnings today. So Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit?
So social distancing is one of the key measures enacted consistently across the globe in the fight against COVID-19. I think we're all pretty familiar with the concept of social distancing, but it's particularly important now to try and stem the infection or the spread of the infection and to deliver peace of mind for those who do need to return to the workplace.
Right. So there are many methods of providing social distancing and guidance. So for example, companies have deployed signs, and we've seen the yellow tapes, right? We use lots of yellow tapes around workstations. But here at Samsung, we wanted to see how our wearable could help deliver a simple yet effective solution to get people back to work, and to your point, Kevin, to deliver peace of mind.
Exactly, and wearables are a great platform for this, especially these days. Everywhere people have mobile phones everywhere. They're ubiquitous, right? And we use them for every aspect of our daily lives. And lately we've seen some awesome tools, or using mobile phones as an awesome tool for social distancing guidance. But how often, James, do you put your phone down, walk away, and leave it there, right? A lot. And same, I think we all do. And that kind of defeats the purpose of using a phone, or can defeat the purpose of using a phone for social distancing. Wearables by design are small, they're portable, they're non-invasive. They allow folks to keep working or using their hands while receiving alerts directly on the wearable, right? Haptic feedback, so that's the buzzing that you see on phones or watches. Haptic feedback helps to reinforce the desired behaviors from the solutions without folks needing to take a phone out, look at it, and engage or interact with it. So James, how can Samsung wearables help with implementing and maintaining social distancing?
We have many ways, but particularly in two ways. We do have our own in-house solution, Samsung Gear Up. We work closely with our partners as well to optimize some of these experiences and solutions. Gear Up is a solution designed, as you know, to keep workers safe, productive in demanding environment like mining, oil and gas, chemical, transportation, logistics. And working with our partners, we can deliver alternative solutions that value add to that, leveraging the Samsung Galaxy Watches. So Kevin, I think you work with some folks here recently to really drive some of these innovations together with our partners and customers. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Absolutely. But we ran a POC in a manufacturing location, and to do this we worked with Radiant RFID. So this is one of these key partners that you're talking about. Radiant are an organization based out of Texas in the States, and they're a company with a lot of expertise in the management and tracking and analysis of highly mobile and high value assets, right? So right now, the company's assets doesn't come much more high value than its workers.
That's true.
And there were a couple of key areas of the solution that we deployed. First was we agreed upon the hardware. So the Galaxy Watch Active 2 was the hardware platform that we decided for the solution. And we did this for a couple of reasons. So the first was the ability of the watch to work in standalone mode. That was absolutely key. So on top of that was having a piece of hardware or a device that would deliver all-day battery to allow for continued usage, continued interaction without the need to charge or recharge during a daily shift.
I'm sure you got a lot of people interested, so I think you have to tell us a little bit more about this.
Radiant RFID built out a Tizen application. So Tizen is obviously the OS that we use for our watch portfolio. But they built out this specific Tizen application in a very short space of time to leverage the Bluetooth and other capabilities on the watch. So using the Bluetooth, specifically BLE, to constantly look for and ping other watches in the vicinity. So what we delivered, or what we were able to deliver, was a simple but highly effective peer-to-peer. So just like you and I are sitting here, a peer-to-peer solution delivered notifications directly to the workers' watches if there was someone within a tuned distance. These workers would receive notifications of single or multiple interactions, and then all of that information, all of those interactions were then stored to a cloud. cloud server, so the plant operators could then optimize work environments to reduce the number of interactions and aid in contact tracing if anything did happen.
This is really timely. I think a lot of our customers and partners are worried about this. So I think, in fact, you got us so excited about this. I think you have to show us how this works.
Okay, so you and I, James, we both have the Galaxy Watch Active 2, and we've both been getting pings constantly as we've been speaking here. You can see that I have one interaction. That's you and me, right? We've been pinging each other non-stop. But it's not just limited to a single interaction, James. It could be multiple interactions. And now you can see we have two people in the area or in close proximity. And then from that, I can either acknowledge, so ACK, or mark you as a friend and the thumbs up piece here, right? So for now, I'm just going to acknowledge, and that's silence the notifications, and then I can take the necessary action to socially distance from the group that's in vicinity. So you can see here from the solution home screen that I can get readouts of all my interactions today and over the past few days. So I'm able to change my behavior and how I move through the work environment to ensure I am adhering to social distancing and avoiding the associated risk. So this is really the core value of the watch, of the solution. The watch, the application, and the notifications are the technology, but really the value is the behavior change that the solution drives among users. And we've seen some really positive behavior changes from some of the early data where folks have been able to reduce their interactions by more than half after implementing this solution. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, just summary, I think that's really awesome because one of our design principles is that really driving the workers to self-guide and change behaviors to keep themselves safe and others safe while they're working in a broader environment.
Absolutely. And again, to reinforce the core value or the real value of the solution is the behavioral change that it drives. But to do that, you need to collect data from the watches, and we've done this via Wi-Fi. So the watches will connect to the corporate network, and they will send that information of interactions that the watches had to a cloud server, and then all of that information is managed in a very simple dashboard, and it's done so for a couple of reasons, right? So first is plant operators, and they're able to optimize how they set out workflows, workstations to minimize or further minimize the occurrence of interactions. The second then is, and you know, if there is a case or a confirmed or suspected infection case, the data can be used to check what interactions those folks have had, notify the relevant people, make sure that those people and their families are able to be tested. But this raises the interesting question around privacy that you touched on. So for the POC that we ran, the data collected from the watches was completely anonymous. So no personal information from the workers was used or was stored in the cloud. What we did do, or what the company did do, is work very closely with the employee health and safety organization. Yep. And they were provided with a list of devices, the watches, and who had those watches. So in the event of a case or the need to contact trace or go through a contact tracing protocol, the company and the employee organization were able to work together to provide the necessary data.
Great. So what you're seeing here is we're using technology for worker safety, productivity, and privacy. I think it's a really great story to deliver an effective solution for really these challenging times right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we call it new norm, but this obviously is a very tough time for many of our customers and partners that we work with.
But that's not all, James. The final piece was how do we work, or how do we deploy this? So we needed to work with one of our Knox partners, and in this case it was the folks at I4D, a local partner who was able to be on the ground, and they used our Knox platform to effectively deploy and manage the solution.
Great. So if I could pull all this together as companies look to get their workers back safely. We were able to first work with a great company with Ford. Yeah. Second, we were able to work with a social distancing solution company called Radiant. Yeah. And also we had a great Knox partner like I4D that really kind of ran and deployed this in a mass at a customer site to deliver an effective solution for us and together.
Don't forget the wearable, of course, James.
Well, of course, and I think the key point here is our flexibility, openness, and ability to customize Samsung devices and solutions make us really interesting partner to work together. And also equally, I think we're all learning from this particular experience. So with that, if you want to learn more about this particular best practices or what we're learning, please contact your Samsung local account managers and Samsung.com as well. I think over time we'll provide more best practices like this. Obviously, this is an interesting time for all of us to really do the right thing here. So really appreciate the interest and time. So that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.